You know what time it is. It's time to pour yourself a drink. I don't care if it's top shelf, bottom shelf, or you made it in the bathtub. It's time for another edition of Off the Wall.
Jessica?
Yeah?
How much rum have you drank before we get into this? I'm just kind of curious. Like,
I don't really know. I know it's less than you.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
that
it
is so far from no.
No, it is.
No,
It is
no,
actually less.
No.
Yeah, this is like my fourth little jar.
She's had poppy seed lemon bread.
And Canadian bacon.
Yeah.
And cold french fries. Thank you very much.
Cold French fries and Canadian. Would you raid my fridge?
Yeah.
Kinda.
I helped her rate it.
And you'd think we were doing this show at like midnight. We're like, man, I got the munchies, dude. I gotta do something. No, it's 3 in the freaking afternoon. Okay?
Yeah, it's my fourth time day drinking.
Well, welcome.
Is that? Are you actually being serious? Like, that's not.
No, it's serious. I'm 35 years old, and this is my fourth time day drinking in my life. My third time day drinking was last Sunday, so...
Was it hot?
Yeah, I was fucking hot as shit.
There's something about day drinking. It's just, it hits different.
It does hit
It does.
Was he hot? Yeah, he
Speaking
was.
of a weird tangent before we go on this, so JNR and I have been trying to do this keto diet. And I will tell you guys, if you are on this diet, before we go into our regular show, if you are on this diet,
Don't go off of it.
be careful.
Don't be stupid.
Well, just your alcohol intake is different. And I just haven't been sleeping very well. And I had a few drinks of alcohol, and I took a sleeping pill. I was acting like I had just drinking 2 bottles of hard liquor. And I'm not like that. And anybody knows
Now,
I'm not
meanwhile,
a
that
hard
night, I
drinker,
took,
but
like, a sleeping
holy
pill.
cow.
So I'm sleeping where I should have been in the bathroom and holding her hair out of the toilet. No, I was like, oh, I feel so good. I'm so relaxed.
I was in a crazy...
And she's just hurling like a cat throwing up a hairball.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you go on the keto diet, you gotta like be aware of the keto flu.
Yeah.
Keto flu.
For sure.
Heard about it.
Keto flu. Wow, that's how you.
Sorry,
you
that was a
start-
weird tangent.
Yeah, you
It was
wanna
just
start on
about the
keto
food.
flu. Okay, that's kind of weird. We're talking about Jessica's day drinking and Marcus. Do you day drink?
Sometimes.
Today.
Really?
Yeah. It depends.
I'm doing
I mean,
show, I tend to day drink, so that's how we roll.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for day drinking, but
I don't think
It
should
hits
be
differently, like we were
practiced
saying.
all the time.
yeah.
It hits differently. Like at night, it's like, oh, this is...
I'm supposed to be drunk right now.
Yeah,
What?
I don't think you should go, hey, guess what? One of my favorite traits is I can do this really well, is day drinking. You should never do that. Look at my specialty.
Because you can go on a dating site and be like, so one of the favorite things I like to do is get up at like 8 in the morning and start with a shot right there. And then when I get to the bathroom and do another shot. And pretty much within the first 15 minutes of my coffee, I am day drunk. It's like, wow.
Hey, I waited until afternoon.
Barely.
12:01.
I got here at 12:25. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
12:25, seriously? Oh.
And the other day it was 12:20. It was around that time also. So.
Okay, so here we are, another episode of Off the Wall.
Off the
we
Wall.
have Marcus, the producer.
Yours truly.
Always. And then we have Miss Jemma Lee, the crazy CEO of Studio DA46. I am one of your hosts, JMR, and we have a guest that I'm hoping, as we've said in several other episodes, I hope she's a permanent. We have the stand-up comedian and the improv comedian, the actress that we love and know. She is Jessica Johnson, otherwise known as Jessica
Motherfucking Johnson.
Someday you're going to have to know the story about like where Jessica motherfucking Johnson came from. Because
Someday.
if you've reached any type of level of fame, if you've reached any type of it at all, that's like the pinnacle.
Yeah.
That's like right there. It's like, oh my god, I am in bed with Junior Michael Ray. I'm like going, wait, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Not today, but
Not today.
it was Pretty grand.
All right, so we always got to talk about
Moving
studio
on.
weird stuff. It just, I so want to get Jessica on a rant. I so want to get her on a rant.
Maybe
It'll
she's
happen
one
when the
of
time is right.
On one of our topics, maybe she is one of somebody's hero
Well, obviously, it's
in
the
film.
guy that never. That,
did-
so,
No, Cheerios.
The audience is like, what the fuck am I listening to right now?
It's like, so if you ever have had, okay, we're going to talk about what Cheerios means. That means, oh God, we really had to go that early in the shows. Okay,
I would have
so
too.
Cheerios is, this is going to be a show we're never going to hold back. We're never going to, and we could get in trouble for some of the things we say. However, when we know that there's some things we're going to say, like, okay, prime example.
Like what we
At
just
some
said.
point, which it'd be very fun to talk about. Jamie, you live in a polyamorous world. Okay. Jessica, you've lived in a polyamorous world.
Once upon a time.
Chris, we have
Marcus.
a normal.
Marcus.
No.
Say my name.
Shit,
Say
you
my
gotta
name.
cut that out. Marcus, you don't live in what people would consider a standard, relationship.
Under the world
Right.
standards.
But so it's kind of one of those things. So if we have stepped on one another's toes, like in rough sex, we have a safe word, and our word on the show is Cheerios.
Cheerios.
So for the first time in the show's history,
Better than guacamole. That sounds like you're
Jessica
gonna choke
called
on it.
Cheerios.
Guac. Oh my god, I'm never gonna be able to hear that word the same way ever again. Can I get some guacamole?
Right? Sounds like you're hawking up all
We're all
over.
gonna be out to dinner one night, like, oh, we'll have some chips and some. I just want to, and the poor waitress is like, sir, do you want some guacamole? Oh yeah, that's it. Don't say it. Don't say it anymore.
She says it, you hurl all over the table.
God,
I am so sorry.
So if you hear Cheerios on the show, we have already. Oh my God, we're in the show like, we were in the show for 7 minutes, and okay. So anyway,
First topic.
First topic. Okay, so
Heroes.
from our audience, the first topic that people want to hear about is what are our heroes in filmmaking. I mean, now I can do a whole show by myself on that, but
Oh, little
Marcus,
conceited.
you're in. Really? Cheerios. Really? Cheerios. No,
Pinkies up. Cheerios, darling.
Cheerio. Anyway, Marcus,
Run.
you're in sound. Jessica is in the stand-up and improv world. She's also worked on shows. Jamie, you are the owner of a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we got. I'll come at it maybe from a male actor's point of view. So, do you have heroes in the film industry? You have?
I just thought of one actually.
Really? Let's hear it.
I guess Tina Fey.
Yes.
Tina Fey.
I can totally see that with you.
Tina Fey is one of those badass. She's a writer, producer, director, comedian, and
you
she's
can't hold back from the fact that she was a writer before
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
And she was writing for some of the biggest names ever in the business. So Tina Fey, and here's another thing, Tina Fey's hot. Like, she's got a sexy thing about her. Like,
yeah.
I 100% agree.
and she's just sexy. Like, and like even when she does like some of her funniest stuff, like she's sexy now. She like okay, Tina Fey made Sarah Palin hot. Sarah Palin is a very attractive like politician. I don't get into the politics of things. Sarah Palin is a fairly attractive politician, whether you agree with her politics or not. Like she had something that people paid attention to. Tina Fey made her a sex symbol. My opinion.
What do you have to say about Tina Fey?
Tina Fey, like, okay, so I've always admired her for all that she does, and then I saw her in an interview with Jerry Seinfeld does this thing on Netflix, the riding in cars with...
Riding in coffee or riding in cars with comedians or
Something like that.
Yeah, and it was with her, and like, I really kind of connected with her because she's so fucking quiet and awkward. And I'm like, that's me! Because if you really meet me in real life, I'm quiet and awkward. But I have this other side to me where people are like, oh, you go on stage? Like, yeah. Yeah, I do that. Like, oh, you do stand-up? Like, yeah. Like, they're all shocked. And, like, seeing her demeanor when she's just one-on-one with somebody was like, okay, it's not just me, it's part of,
You know, because I can vouch for that, because you and I have worked on set before. When you first showed up,
yeah.
You didn't talk a lot. Even actually
No.
throughout 10 episodes that we filmed of a sitcom,
Yeah, no, I don't.
you kind of went out and kind of did your own thing and like got into your character, like, but you brought your character, like you brought it, like you, one of your character's attributes we talked about in another show, like your character's attribute was some crazy wardrobe hairstyle. You know, you were a pinup girl one day and all this, but I mean, but like you brought it, but you kept it yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, Tina is only outspoken when the camera's on her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she's a writer and a professional. Like,
She's quiet.
You're here.
And I feel like I get, a lot of times I get misunderstood or looked over because I am actually very quiet when you meet me. Like, I was a manager at a restaurant once. It was in Big Timber. But I mean, nobody would have ever guessed that or would have ever thought that I could do something like that because I have such a quiet and whatever. They think that I can't hold my shit. But I can, and I admired, because she has so much. I mean, if you look at everything that she's done, it's amazing. And then just seeing her, like, being normal and quiet is like, yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Well,
Like,
you
you're
know,
a fucking badass, but if somebody just met you at face value, they wouldn't...
if
they
you
wouldn't
look,
say
like,
that.
she's- If you look at her too, like, unless you look at who the person is, you're not going to get the success, because like you always look at people like it's a fake site. Okay, IMDb is a joke, but it at one point it did really keep track of the film world, and now I mean it's owned by Amazon now. It's an entertainment thing. When we talk about people like, I want an IMDb credit. No, you know, motherfucker, go out and work. Okay, but if you look up, Tina Fey is one of the few people you will look into that literally, I think she's got like 42, 45 on screen, but she has 22 acting credits. And she was one of the writers of 30 Rock. And, I mean, she's got some writing chops that you gotta like, I mean, and you know, she came from like the era of like, I mean, whether you like it or not, wherever it's gone, I mean,
Is she on Saturday Night Live?
she wrote for Saturday Night
Okay,
Live.
that's
I
what
mean,
I thought. That's where I've seen her from.
she's not a joke. I mean, so like I can actually see that. Jamie, who do you have?
Mine is Lucy Lawless.
As an actress, or
As an actress, as my hero in
Really?
film business. Yeah, because
not because you just want to hook up with her?
no,
just because-
well, that was a younger crush of mine, but
I
that's
can't say no to that. But.
no. But I mean, she just was my first go-to as woman empowerment, because here's this beautiful woman that really isn't that skinny, who is very, muscular. And back
as far
then,
as
even
actresses go, like I've heard you mention, and I'm not trying to interrupt you, but like I've heard you mention Lucy Lawless and Gina Carano in the same sentence. That's why I'm just kind of curious.
I mean, they're both good actresses, but I first saw Lucy Lawless first.
Right. But I mean, like,
And she is one of my. I've gotten
these
many.
are warrior type women. They're
Yeah,
not.
no. I mean, and there's plenty other people. But I used to watch Xena Warrior Princess when I was younger, and that was just my epitome of a strong female, type role model. And she's always inspired me to, regardless of what anybody says, just be you. And she was pretty ballsy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know. anybody? in
Marcus.
film?
Mark.
Yeah, I'm doing
God.
that.
Say my
I'm doing that
name,
to fuck
say
with you.
my name.
I'm starting to get offended.
Too.
No, because one of these days we're on the air because he knows how much I love his better. But no, Marcus,
Clearly, you love him more than me.
No kidding.
No,
Jesus.
but Marcus, do you have somebody like? You started your own business. You work for a studio now, plus you have your own, and things are working
Right.
not easily in any way, shape, or form. But do you have somebody that like Marcus wakes up in the morning and goes, I watched this person when I was young, and this is who I kind of want to emulate my life off of.
If I had to choose one person, I mean, ultimately, it would be Hans Zimmer for sure. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah. I've always wanted to be.
Has he ever done anything wrong? Like literally, if you look at from film, I mean,
I can't answer that question.
wow. I mean, that's,
Every single person that was asked that question would give you a different answer.
He might not know how to tie his shoes.
it wouldn't matter. He's Hans Zimmer.
He's Hans Zimmer, exactly.
Somebody will tie him for him. I mean,
But this man, for me, my goal in the audio industry is to make a change and make things different and make things new and fresh
He really
and
did.
stand out. He took that to a whole new meaning. Any major action, drama, any sort of major production that you see is most likely inspired by Hans Zimmer's
Jamie,
work.
will you look up if Hans Zimmer did the music for the 13th Warrior?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because
He's done a lot.
what's interesting about it is Hans Zimmer he's got a distinct sound. Like you know, like if you're listening to like you get it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's Hans Zimmer. But somehow he has made a different sound for every project he's ever
Oh,
done.
absolutely, exactly, and that's
He's
why I
made
love
its
him.
own. And I think that's like Mozart. I mean, I and you know what? I'm sure that there are people in the music world that
What
would just
movie was it for?
throttle 13th Warrior. I'm sure there are people in the music world that would throttle me if I'm wrong, but it's like a different. It's like a different concerto. Whatever symphony that those composers, the great ones, whatever the Baroque period or whatever it may be,
I don't think so.
it's just
I don't think he
Original
did.
Music by Jerry Goldsmith.
really bummer.
But
what I'm saying is like he's made a sound for whatever he did, and I mean literally for generations to come. I don't care who you are.
you will be using his
Yeah.
music as inspiration.
And you're going to know who Captain Jack Sparrow is by the music.
Okay, that I would disagree with because
really?
Johnny Depp is my hero in the acting world by far.
Mine too.
So I would disagree with that because I love Johnny Depp so much.
I can't differentiate between the music that Hans Zimmer made for the films and Johnny Depp. That's why they're saying that Johnny Depp won't be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean. I think you're talking about a massive flop.
Oh
I think
yeah,
you're talking about a massive catastrophic failure.
yeah,
You're going to
Yeah.
have Hans Zimmer music, Pirates of the Caribbean, and you're not
and no
gonna
Johnny
have
Depp.
Everything about X. You can't not have.
Oh yeah,
Whether he flaked out or whatever he did to piss you off, Disney, whatever. I just don't see. I don't see it happening.
yeah.
But Hans, I mean, we were talking earlier. Like you start looking at the music that Hans Zimmer has done. Jesus.
He's done pretty much every iconic film that the modern world knows.
Ugh.
He did Titanic. He did some of his more recent works was Inception. That was kind of one of the soundtracks that he did that really gave him that Hans Zimmer sound because he is notorious for those gigantic horn sounds.
Orchestrated.
As some would call it, a wall of sound. He has perfected that and taken it to a whole new level. And one of the other reasons I really like Hans Zimmer is from a technological standpoint, as a producer, some of the ways that he creates some of the textures and some of the extra stuff that you see or you hear in his work. It's just interesting the process that he goes through to make those sounds. He does a lot of analog and he works with a lot of I guess what you could say, vintage, like, technology. Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons is he's literally cultivated a whole new world when it comes to the industry of film scoring. Because like you were just saying, every artist that writes sound or writes music for a film is going to probably either use him or John Williams as an inspiration. But personally, I definitely would pick Hans Zimmer over John any day of the week, simply just for that Hans Zimmer sound, because it's just so massive.
In 2 weeks, John will give him a call. And want to work with him. Hey, I heard you said this. Like,
Oh, I'm not dissing John Williams either. I mean, he's definitely up there in the world of modern day film composers for sure. He's also done a lot of stuff that people know. But yeah, that would be my main reason. And I mean, if I could see him perform live and like see him with his full orchestra, I would probably pass out from stardom. But the way he directs and like from like the more classical music standpoint too, like he's just all around very well rounded. He knows what he's doing. He does it. He doesn't just point fingers like a lot of people will do when they're working on that level. So that's a lot of the reasons I admire him personally. And just in general, his fucking soundtracks are amazing. I could literally listen to his Interstellar soundtrack on replay all day, every day, and be okay with it.
I'm gonna have to listen to that
Interstellar's soundtrack is beautiful.
because I know you're working on it.
It's so simple, but it's beautiful.
Project for us, or for Jemma. That's interesting. I didn't pay attention to that one. I need to.
Oh, and by the way, yes, he's German.
Oh, wow. Didn't make it. Didn't make it about the whole race and all that kind of stuff.
So, JR, what is your hero in film?
What is yours?
Ooh, that's.
It's probably multiple, like all of us.
Well, it's
Yeah.
different in the aspect of like what do I want to do? Like I would love to do Ridley Scott. Like Ridley Scott, like one of the greatest films that I turned Jemma onto, is Kingdom of Heaven. Amazing story. I mean, I would love to do stuff that was like Ridley Scott, Black Hawk Down. Like I lived that. I was part of that. The magnitude that Ridley Scott works at, the storytelling of Clint Eastwood. I don't feel that Clint Eastwood is ever going to get the respect that he actually deserves. This guy, I could show you the car. He has the same office, and his office, a lot of people don't realize at Warner Brothers is the size of our studio right now. And this is quarantine studio. The whole world's going to get to see Off the Wall Studio soon, but I mean, his office is this size, and he drives like this. Man, it's like I'm totally gonna botch this up, but he drives like this 1968 Thunderbird, just crappy old car, and they'll drive it off the lot of Warner Brothers and go grab lunch. He's such a normal dude. And people don't get that. And I can tell stories of the real people that I know that are working in the business of like, his kids did not get it easy. Scott did not get an easy ride. His daughter did not get an easy ride. Like, he has made them like, I mean, if you ever want to look up the history of Scott Scott actually wanted to play the role of Chris Kyle in American Sniper. And Dad was like, audition. Okay, you're not getting shit. And Scott's had to earn every step. If anything else, I felt like he's been kept back. And he's in another war movie now of a friend of mine that's not a business acquaintance of mine, Rick's partner, The Outpost, one of the biggest battles of the Afghan War, and Scott's in it. And I mean, my God, he looks just like his dad. So I would love to tell stories because Clint Eastwood can call up Morgan Freeman and get him to show up like that. Ever since I was a little boy, people have wanted to hear the sound of my voice. I mean, if you get more, Clint Eastwood's done it all. So I would love to make films like Clint Eastwood. I would love to make him as big as Ridley Scott. I would love to tell love stories the way Nicholas Sparks has. I am a fan of what I call the pioneers of film. One of my biggest I'm a big fan of John Carpenter. And if you look into when John Carpenter was making a lot of his films, like John Carpenter is the father of Halloween.
Did you know he did the soundtrack for that himself?
Yep. John Carpenter is, he made The Thing and stuff like that.
I love him.
And like,
Yeah.
I'll tell a couple little stories, and I really encourage people that are in the film industry to, oh man, they're, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. It's probably because we're on set, but the director of Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino 20 years ago said that if you have a camera and you're not filming every day, that's your fault. If you want to be successful, film with that camera every day. And that's something that Jemma has done. And it's like, she made the comment of, I'll make movies and I'll make shows for free for the rest of my life. I don't care. You know, if you're not willing to go out and make that work, you have to love the work that you do.
Oh, for
and
sure.
You got to be willing to do it for free. And that's why, like, I love it when actors like, how much are you paying? Motherfucker, you've never been paid a day in your life, and you think you deserve to be paid? Hold on. You know,
Well, you're pretty biased to the film world.
I have a tendency of
because
being
you
very...
are heavily tainted by Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I feel that, I mean, not that I'm saying you're not correct, but you are heavily tainted.
I am.
Because
I'm
you've seen
pretty
the
bitter.
horrible, yeah.
I've seen the ugly side of it,
Yeah.
and I hate it if I think people are going to come and treat your people. Somebody like Jessica, somebody like Rick, some of our people that I just couldn't handle being treated that way. But my heroes in the aspect of probably my biggest hero is going to be John Carpenter. We talked about that. In the aspect of John Carpenter, you got to listen to when he made Halloween. And when he made Halloween, a lot of people don't realize that the reason that, and I'm really going to bastardize this, but the reason that Jason Voorhees,
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Jason Voorhees is Friday the 13th.
Oh,
I screwed that up. But the reason that Michael Myers walks is because they were so low on the budget, and they went to like a novelty store and bought like a rubber knife, and if he ran too fast, the knife would wobble because it was a rubber knife. And so that's the reason that Michael Myers had to walk. And they created an icon.
Which I'm so glad they did too, because if you can recreate the Michael Myers walk,
that feel.
Oh my God.
It just gave a feel. I mean, look at what he did. And I mean, he was the inspiration behind Robert Rodriguez and all these other people. But another movie did like The Thing. And one of the great stories I loved hearing about, like, Jemma's had to do this on her sets. I've had to do this on my sets. And you're trying to make this 15, like in modern day age, you're trying to make this $15 million film and you got no money. You don't know what to do. I mean, you got to make something happen. And if you watch the movie The Thing, there's a part where one of the guys that's in the Antarctic base, he's been killed, what have you. He's on a platform, and his head starts to come off. And they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with this. Now, the scene that I'm going to tell you about, if you watch it, is the head starts to come off, and when the head hits the floor, it sprouts out these spider legs, and this head, very grotesquely, like, walks across the hallway.
Gross.
Pretty gnarly. Okay?
I've never seen The Thing, so
You got to watch it.
surprisingly.
It's amazing.
don't spoil it.
And so, but what was interesting is they couldn't get away for this head to give the look that John Carpenter was talking about. And I don't know if this is, I don't have like 100% confirmation on this, so I'm probably paraphrasing. But they had a situation where he looked over and there was a dude that was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And he had red raspberry preserves, the jam, on his sandwich. And he was looking at it and he goes, "Where'd you get that?" So they went to wherever the craft services was, and they had like 2 jars of this red raspberry preserves, and they froze it, and they put the head on this prosthetic with this red raspberry preserves, and they let it start to fall off the table to film it, and then they hit it, and they started heating it up, and it would just start slowly dripping, and it started releasing this head. And I'm totally paraphrasing how the way it really went because it's much worse than what they did.
Just goes to show that they made something
They made
iconic out of
something
nothing.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, with John Carpenter, and then, like, I mean, you got to understand, I mean, John Carpenter did Escape from New York, which, as far as I'm concerned, like, I mean, Kurt Russell already had a career, but Escape from New York launched his career. I mean, John Carpenter is, you give him...
He's like the king of DIY movies.
Yeah, I mean, he is, you know, but then you start looking at Miller from Mad Max. Like, the funny story about the original Mad Max is the van that has to jump through and do this car wreck scene, that was his van. And he just said, all right, just wreck it. They had one shot to do it. And then the little Australian blue heeler was adopted from a pound for that show. And he ended up adopting that dog that was part of that movie. And that dog would end up being in the movie. And so, I mean, and I'm totally paraphrasing. But
Interesting.
Like, I love people who have taken, like, absolutely nothing and made these epic stories. And that's where, like my heroes are the people, like, a lot of people will never give, like, I don't look at Steven Spielberg, like, if you don't look at Steven Spielberg and Saving Private Ryan as one of the greatest cinematographic movies ever made, I think that every American allied country kid should watch Saving Private Ryan before they graduate from high school. It's an amazing story. It shows a lot of the ugliness in World War II.
I actually had to watch that movie in high school.
Did you really?
I did.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
We had to do permission slips and stuff, obviously, but yeah.
So you look at that movie, you look at the first 15 minutes in that movie, and but you got to remember, Steven Spielberg and once again, I'm paraphrasing, he was making war movies when he was like 8 or 9 years old, and they wanted to use firecrackers or something along those lines, and they couldn't do it. And so what they did is they put like a board over a thing so that when they ran over it, a kid would jump on the board and it would blow sand up, and they would get that shot and they would edit right there on like 8mm. And Spielberg was making these so cutting edge movies when he was 9 years old. You know, those are the people that are like my heroes. It's like, make something out of nothing. But
that's truly where the art comes into it. It's really easy to make a movie if you have $3 billion to spend on it. It's really easy.
Yeah.
You hire this company, you hire that company. Okay,
Right.
That's great.
But that takes away from the artistry. Then it just becomes a business transaction.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, so that's what that brings me to. So, okay, small budget, low budget. What do you want to do?
I mean, I can't really choose. I'm about the story.
Yeah.
So if it's a good story, whether it's paying $1 million or 500, I don't really care. I'm more about the content itself.
You care more about the art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I would
Jimmy,
very
you got some
easily
stuff coming up.
choose.
What do you want to do?
I'm with Marcus on that. Like, would it be nice to, have a buttload of cash to do what we need to do for the effects? It would, but I mean, even though it's frustrating sometimes to make, a little out of what we have, I think the rawness and the rough of how we have to do that and the journey, I think, speaks for itself.
Makes it more organic, Junior.
Yes.
Wow. Use my favorite word.
I think it can be very frustrating at times. And I know all of us will have a scary story or two going, oh my God, I never want to do this ever again. And then you have your cast and your fellow team, and then it makes it all better. Like, it makes it okay.
Because you guys are doing like a very simple sitcom.
Oh
It's
yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to talk about because it's simple, but it's kind of provocative. We'll talk
not
about that
really.
later.
It's not provocative. Just people that the subject line isn't really what people like to talk about nowadays.
Some
just-
may consider it to not be socially acceptable.
Yeah,
Let's just
for
put
sure.
it that way.
I think the concept you guys are going with, we'll talk about it another day. Jessica, what do you want to do? I mean, where are you looking to take? I mean, You got a lot going on. You got improv, you got
Yeah.
stand-up, you got...
A stand-up is kind of like not really there, but it is. It's like in the back. I enjoy it, but I have improv, and that's what I'm so grateful that I get to do that, because it's kind of what saves my bacon for like my mental state sometimes. I would love to work on more shows and doing more acting. I've never really cared if I got paid. Improv, I do get paid, but
Which is nice.
yeah,
You're like, well,
only if there's. I mean, it depends on how much, but I don't even care if I get paid to do that. I mean, I love it. I think for me it would be more about the story and the character. Like Jack, I honestly like Jack was.
Now, if you didn't listen to the first show, Jack was a character that you played on a
Loco.
sitcom, Loco.
Yes.
That
And-
was Studio Jamie's company's
Yes.
first show.
Yes. And I loved playing Jack. I loved going shopping for Jack. I'm like, oh yeah, Jack is gonna have a, what is it? A fake afro, or Jack's gonna,
Alfro or whatever. It is.
yeah. Jack's gonna do this. Like, I just like had fun with
After the
her.
third episode, you keep the makeup and hair department's worst nightmare because like they didn't know what you were going to show up and want to do.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. But I mean, like, if they didn't want to do it, I could do it myself because I'm quite handy with my hair. But they
I'm
always
so humble. I too am
No.
exceptionally humble.
I mean, I normally am, but I mean, I can do shit with my hair, man. But yeah, no, she was just a lot of fun, and I would like to work on projects where I have characters like that, where I can fall in love with them as
like have free reign to do what you want.
not even just free reign. I wouldn't even need free reign. Just like the story was good, the character was good, the character had heart, the story.
So can I drop a morsel?
Yeah.
Rumor has it you're probably going to work on Jamie's next sitcom pilot.
I've heard kind of a rumor too.
Is that a rumor? Is that just a
I don't know. Nothing's like
set in stone?
set in stone yet, but I would totally like to.
Oh. Just throw that
Drop.
just to say,
So, Dan, what would you like to do?
Oh, you're talking the wrong dude.
Well, you like to do everything.
Well, I would love to. I'm big about making like stories that people like. Okay.
Fall in love with?
Well, yes, because like with me, like you and I were talking the other night, like in NYPD Blue when Bobby Simone died, and we're talking this is like 20 plus years ago. That show wrecked me. Like I want to write something that people are so entrenched in, and they're so in love with. It's almost a part of their life. I would love to do my book, The Well, as a series. I would love to do that. That's obviously going to be.
It's more long term.
Yeah,
goal.
that's a huge. I would love to. I'm hoping to talk Marcus into cut my last album. I've always wanted to do my. You always have your albums, but we've talked about it. But I would love to do my last album called Seeing Red.
Well, your voice has changed.
Yeah, and I would like to like finish my music career the way that I want to. Not a record label telling me what I got to do, but letting Marcus go like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Like, all right, well, okay, you're gonna sound like a raped cat, whatever it's gonna sound the way we want to make it sound. I would love to make The Well into the series that it was originally written. I would love to, believe it or not, one of my first books published, Sanctuary Ranch, I would love to do that entire series. That was a modern Lonesome Dove series. I would love to do that, but like you would have to shoot that as though you were shooting it in the 90s, because that's when that book took place.
I see.
I love Nicholas Sparks stuff. I love love stories. I love.
Is that where you got most of your heart and of wanting to do different films?
I don't
Is from
know. I can watch a Nicholas Sparks movie and I can watch Saving Private Ryan in the same day. you know, I want to do something that touches people, and I think that, you know, I do it for free. And I think that's what everybody here says.
Good,
Like,
yeah,
I
that
just do
sounds
it for
like it's
free.
very something
I don't
similar to
care
everybody.
about like getting rich. I want to do something that, you know, Harden Road. That's a project that you're directing. I feel very strongly about that because of my experiences and how I feel about human trafficking, and you know, I'm never going to take like my political side and like go into that weird, you know, place where like I'm doing this to like raise awareness. No, I want to show stories that are real life. And so, I mean, if I could do Harden Road as a series, if I could do, I love The Neighbors. It's a great concept. If I could do, I would love to do more episodes of, or more seasons of Loco. Loco was very much a, what do they call that? A project of the heart for me, and
That was
the things that
first
kept
for the
it,
studio.
the things that kept it from being successful have been very hurtful, because I took it personal, because I wanted to show a different story of a. I mean, think about it. I mean, this is a story that you showed a single father who didn't exactly have a good run of luck, you know. And we've always seen that. We've always seen that single mother and stuff like that. Like, we showed it differently. I love showing that stuff differently. Like, and I want more. I want to write more stuff like with characters like Jack, you know, and I want more characters like Emily Wynn. I mean, you'll see that when it comes out. But those are the things that I want to do, and so I don't have something that's just like I'm always going to keep moving forward. I just hope that I always have a way to move forward with it, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like,
No, it makes
I mean, like, literally, like, I want to sit down and talk to Jessica. Like, a lot of people don't realize I did a lot of stand-up in L.A. I've actually worked at the Comedy Store. That was the scariest fucking experience of my life. Terrified. I'd love to do it again and be confident about it.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe my material would be good enough to, you know, but that's, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, that's kind of one of those things where, you know, I'm much more open. I can do a big project or a small. Okay, ready for this? The Muse. I wrote a script called The Muse.
You've had that for a while.
Yep. I wrote that for The Muse for a studio that we can't talk about because I was in a 7-year lawsuit getting it back. I would like to do The Muse. It's a family story. You know, I like
fair.
feel good. I like feel good stories. I like stuff that makes you come at the end of the day and you're like, you know what? Yeah, it's not Marvel Comics. It's not, but it makes you feel good and it inspires people and young people.
Sure.
So that's I don't know if I answered the question. I'm probably not.
I mean, I'm gonna kind of another question for everybody here, but mainly, you know, Marcus and JR, and probably myself, like actors that think they're bigger than what they are, like trying to cast or
Do we
deal
want to
with
take a
them,
break before we get
or-
into that? Because
Yes.
or even on set, or even on doing stand-up comedy. I mean, I'm pretty sure in every aspect of business or even entertainment that people have
in this
involved
day and
with
age,
that.
we can.
I could go on
Yeah.
rants all day about that
Okay,
shit.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, we really hope you're enjoying this episode of Off the Wall. We decided to have a few more drinks before we started the second half, so it's liable to get a little bit crazy. So, this is a great time for you to go and get yourself a drink. Pour one up if you're at work. Hey, we just suggest doing a little bit more coffee. Sit back and enjoy yourself for the second half of Off the Wall.
Okay.
So it's like driving in LA. We can't pull over. And she goes, "That's it. I cannot
I was like,
wait."
I cannot wait. I want to
And
see
so
my
she's like,
pants. I was
"You've
like,
gotta coach
you've
me
got to
through
coach
this."
me.
She's like, I'm like, all
Got
right,
a
well.
Gatorade bottle.
So we put the Gatorade. I said, you always got to use the big mouth Gatorade bottle. You got to tip it down. Next thing you know, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, holy shit. She's like really peeing right here. Like, this is happening. All right, cool.
But you got to make sure you seal it.
Yeah.
Yep, got to be
What is it
sealed.
about Denver?
And then
Right?
she sits there and dabs the dew off the lily, and I'm like, God, you can get it. Once again, we get back to the.
Only if I had a dick.
I said, once again, we
If
get
I
back
had
to the
a
stand-up
dick.
we're writing for. If I had a penis, you know.
Yeah. Well, I have a Denver story too.
Oh.
Rush hour traffic. We just ate some really horrible food.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
And I have a sensitive gut. And it wasn't pee.
Oh, shit, literally. Oh, God.
And I like we had the cooler in the back of the car, and I'm like, pull over, like I'll just go on the side of the road, and like Ty's like, it's rush hour, like
Yeah.
we're not even moving to be able to pull over, and I'm like, so I look back and I see the cooler, and I'm like, fuck it. So
It's gonna have to happen.
yeah,
Oh,
and the
man.
kids
Did you
are like,
shit in the cooler?
yes, I had to.
Yeah.
I had
Did you,
to.
have, did you have bad Mexican food in Denver?
I had bad Asian food.
Oh, God.
Like, and then it was a really like my daughter just got diagnosed
All that
with
MSG.
Marfan's.
Every person here is like, oh.
Yeah, no, and like my kids are like sitting there with their like, is this really happening?
Oh, hold on a second.
Mom is.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
We got a problem. I get the worst, like, anxiety when people ask me to check. It's like all of a sudden, I don't know what to say. You're literally just asking me to say, like, a few words to check levels, and it's like, I don't know, I can't speak, you know?
I like going on stage has gotten to the point where it's not scary, but when we were doing those Facebook lives, I was like sweating balls.
No way.
Really?
Like,
Well, I feel like it's different when you can't see the people watching you.
yeah.
I mean-
yeah.
Yeah, that's where the people that do...
Can I grab another tea?
Yes,
Of
you
course
may.
you can.
Okay.
In fact, why don't you just bring a couple of them?
I was just saying, make it easier to.
And
Yeah,
you
we'll
can
put 'em
bring
on the table
you
here.
can bring the specializing stuff too.
Okay.
Which one?
I bought the Friss is like gluten free, and it's the only thing that doesn't make me freaking blow up like a goddamn balloon.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for part of our opening, I had an idea for a little thing I want to do.
Okay.
So, when everybody.
Do we need to be like shocked for it into it, or do you want to let us know what it is?
No, so.
She's asking what she brings for the specializing.
Do you see? They're in the freezer. It's a sleeve of the shooters.
Okay.
You know, when we are talking about, I'll probably talk about some history. When we're talking about directors, somebody who you can't not call one of the greatest directors of all time, Alfred Hitchcock. If you really look at his track record, man, you know, Birds. What was it? What was the one? The Window.
Thank you.
Probably one of his most famous ones, where he was the dude that had been hurt, and he watches the dude across the street kill some woman, and he's trying to like turn this dude in, and it comes down to that dude coming after him and some friend of his helping him out.
That's funny.
Is it Room with a View?
Something like that.
It's something along those
Yeah,
lines.
that
But
sounds
yeah,
about right.
I mean,
So I have a game.
oh God.
I was thinking about this on the way here, and I think this is kind of a fun challenge.
We're not talking about pooping yet, are we?
No, not talking about pooping yet. Okay,
Are we?
so everybody go around and think of one of your favorite artists. It doesn't necessarily have to be like your all-time favorite music artist. Just name an artist.
Artist is in like,
Music artist. Doesn't matter.
oh man, a group or like a writer.
Doesn't matter.
For me, it's always going to come down to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
took
a good
that
one.
from you. I mean,
No, I wasn't
if we're
thinking
talking
about
about
it.
artists,
But that's a good one. Who's that guy that just recently came in, similar to Stevie Ray Vaughan? Jazz.
oh, you're talking that guy that's kind of like the Michael Bublé type,
Yes.
Matt
Forbes.
Forbes.
Matt Forbes.
Forbes is good.
Yeah.
Like he is really.
He sings to your virginity.
I mean, he has those. He's got those pudding tunes.
Poon tunes.
I never heard that. That's even better.
He did that was on Big Mouth, and they did the thing about the jazz singer.
Yeah. Okay.
The ghost of what was it? The ghost of Duke Ellington. I had to make those pudding tunes.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, Jessica.
Okay, this is a tough one for me because I listen to music, but I don't really pay attention to who it is. I'm gonna say Ace of Base.
Okay.
Oh.
They were fun. I
Yeah,
do not like them. Okay.
they were so fun.
Where are you going at with this? You're scaring me.
So-
you got that little snide look going on. Like,
No, I'm just
like-
curious. So I'm just gonna go with Lady Gaga because I can't sit here and talk about how many artists I like. Now, think of all their songs. What's your least favorite song by an artist? or the
Wow.
artist that you chose. People always talk about their favorite song. What's your least favorite song?
Oh boy.
Lucky Love.
Yeah.
God, she even has one.
Well, we're caught off guard, aren't
Yeah,
we?
that's you're supposed to give. You're not being a very good producer right now.
This is the fun part.
By like just hammering us with. Man, That's a freaking good question because I know that there were some of his. What I will tell you, because I followed his career so much, is before he was with Double Trouble, and if you watch like the documentary on him before he did Texas Flood and stuff like that, I could tell a difference. It's when he started doing his own thing and he came into his own. So probably pre him by himself, I probably okay. There you go. Those albums I bought just so that I had them.
Right.
I didn't buy them and ever listen to them. I bought them because it's like this is Stevie Ray Vaughan and I must have this, So I don't know.
I mean, I know there's a few songs of Matt Forbes, but I like the upbeat jazz blues feel. And there are some of his songs that are a little slower and really aren't to the ear, but God, I don't know if those songs
I
right
haven't heard
offhand.
one of his yet that I don't like. It's kind of like Michael Bublé. I can listen to his stuff. I mean, he sings to my mangina.
Yeah.
He sings to my mangina. So. Well, I had to beat her. I mean, she said that Matt Forbes
That's
sung to the
true.
badge. I had to come
Junior,
up with
your dirty
something.
whore is showing again.
Is that going to be the theme
Yes!
of the show? This year's
You dirty whore.
Dirty whore.
God dang. And then the freaking Jessica. So that you actually knew what song you didn't like from. Them.
Yeah, it started playing in my head. Now it's stuck in my head.
Thank you, Margaret.
It's in there
We
now.
got to do something
Thanks.
like that every week. Like whether it be with film or music, because like
That's
with
a good idea,
like with
Marcus.
you and me in music, my problem of it is like, okay, well, yeah, who's my end all, be all artist? Well, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan. However, if you start talking about artists, I mean,
There's so many what
it
ifs.
depends
Yeah.
on genres of what I'm listening
Right.
to. I mean, if like I don't like her as an individual, I think she's a flake. But I'm with you. If you don't give Lady Gaga the props, and I remember watching her on 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica.
Is she pop cult, like pop?
I think she would be
Or is it
considered.
like...
She is
I have a
everything.
tough time. I have a tough time trying to figure out what genre of music sometimes.
I mean,
each-
like, generally speaking, I would say electropop would probably be the closest if you were to
yeah.
put, like, a specific genre. But,
God,
like, every
yes.
album kind of has its own vibe anyway.
But will she have the staying power? Now, when I say this, but this is where we could get into. This could be an entire show.
Oh, I was like, I will
As long
defend
as
Lady
you-
Gaga till the day I
Well,
die,
no,
so...
no, but I mean, hear me out on this because I think you'll agree. It's
I
like,
mean, she's a beautiful lady.
will she have the staying power and be able to reinvent herself? Because,
She already has,
Madonna?
like, 4 times.
but what I'm saying is, Madonna has tried to keep that
He's
30
really
30-year
passionate about
career
her,
going.
isn't he?
And I think Madonna came to a point where it's like, honey, it's time to retire. You're not Cher. Okay? Cher can walk onto a stage and do whatever the hell she wants. Will Lady Gaga have that staying power for the 20 to 30 years? I mean,
I think she will.
I do too. That's what I'm saying. I think it's.
I mean, she's already reinvented herself. Every album is different. Like,
That's the thing that I like.
she has, like, a whole persona that she puts on with every album.
Which is cool.
Because there was, like, the first one that was just, like, the Fame Monster. Well, I guess before that there was the Fame, and then she came out with the Fame Monster. Yeah, and then there was, like, the Born This Way album, which she was, like, there was a persona for sure in that one. And then she had Art Pop, which was all Andy Warhol inspired. And then Joanne, which was inspired after...
This is what happens when you talk to someone who's in music. They get like 60 seconds into it, and then I feel like I am this big in education.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
That's how
freaking
like the
words.
rest of
I
us feel
thought he
when
was-
you talk about films. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I thought he was talking about artists, so I'm like, wrote in.
Oh yeah, I can sit and talk about artists too. Yeah. Did you guys see that Picasso museum that opened up? That's like the full like 3D, like you walk into it and like you're inside Starry Sky or Starry
No
Night,
way.
and it's all projected
Where's
around you,
that?
and like the water like moves on the floor and stuff. It's so cool.
Awesome.
Ooh, I should
It's
find
Van Gogh.
Yeah, Google
or-
it.
Hey,
Yes.
we're not
I
up
shared it.
on the studio big monitor here.
I said Picasso. I meant Van Gogh.
Yeah.
But get us up here so we can.
No,
Well, the internet-
I know my art.
And I gotta say this. I gotta give her props on this because I know that she was a big part of it.
Oh, that is so cool.
To this date, I will argue it to the death that Lady Gaga had the
goosebumps.
best Super Bowl
That's
halftime
really cool.
show that has ever been in the history of halftime.
Because he's an artist,
When she
right?
was up
Like,
there, and she's one of the few people that a lot of people, and you and I don't know this.
That is so cool.
I'm so tired of people lying to us and say, yeah, they did the national anthem live. No, they didn't. They pre-recorded it that morning. Stop lying to us. Okay, I'm okay with them performing. Stop lying to me and telling me that those people are going out and doing those shows live. No, they're not. Lady Gaga did. And when she is on, I mean, I've jumped out of airplanes. Okay, I've jumped out of helicopters. And for Lady Gaga to have the Stones and sing on the top of that freaking thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then dive into it. Oh, girl got some stones. Like, I was like, okay, I feel you, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I got to give her, I think she's a great artist. I really
She's
do.
been on the mind. Her new album came out last week, so I'm like,
Oh, that
I've
was
already
amazing.
listened to it all the way through like 16 times.
Dude,
It's
now,
only been out for a week.
a little kind of off a tangent, but to go, like, do you guys remember those, the CDs with the
We
pamphlets
were
in
just
it
talking
and the lyrics?
about it. That was the only way you could
And that was
read
the coolest
all the
thing
artwork that
I
went with
felt
it.
that I could be closest to the artist was
We were
actually
talking the
read
other
their
night, like, I
stuff.
couldn't find growing up. We were trying to find, because I did, like, retro music growing up in high school and the bands that I was in. And, what was that song? Oh,
Blinded by the
Blinded
light,
by the light.
rising up, and then
Yeah,
some
and,
kind of
and no one
douche
ever
in the middle.
No one ever knew what that lyric was. Even when we were reading it, going, "This is the dumbest freaking lyric there's ever say." And I was telling Jamie the other day, I was like, I remember doing it in high school, and like, blinded by the light.
Something.
And so we're in a battle of the bands. This guy comes up and goes, "You have no idea what you just fucking said, do you?" And I'm like, "I don't know what it is." He goes, "We don't either." So we finally got it, and we're reading the lyric. Me and this other singer from another band. I'm going, "That's what it is."
And what do you
That
remember
makes no
what
fucking.
it is?
It's revved up like a deuce and a roller in the night. So
Yeah.
that must be something like from
Yeah.
their world, like a
Oh.
car world. But it's kind of like the other one I was telling you about, like another song that's like motoring.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
your price for flight? Makes no freaking sense. The stupidest fucking lyrics. But there were metalheads out there going, "Oh yeah, dude, I feel you, bro." I mean,
Right.
you know, they're just the
So
lighter.
no, that could be the difference from a lot of other people is that her music actually makes sense, and that
Oh,
speaks
yeah.
to her audience.
Oh yeah.
There's some
Could you-
soul behind
okay,
it.
we're not going to go down this road, but let's do this on another show. Could you actually call her a troubadour?
A what?
A troubadour.
I've never heard that term.
Oh, really? Did
What
I
the
just literally
hell?
trump you?
Troubadour, okay.
A troubadour is like your prime example is like Gordon Lightfoot. Willie Nelson would be considered a troubadour.
Explain what a troubadour would be
is something
in.
like when they do those songs, it tells you a story. It sings you a story. And if you ever listen
Oh,
to
her
like,
albums do that for
like,
sure.
if you
I would
listen to,
totally
like,
agree.
Gordon
She is.
Lightfoot's- Like Gordon Lightfoot has that song. It's a legendary song, "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald." If you listen to it, it literally gives you the history of the wreck of the Edmund. But Jim Croce, you know, I mean, those are guys that like their song. Even John Denver. John Denver was basically considered a troubadour. Like every one of their songs was about telling a full blown story. Whatever the story that they may tell.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett could be actually in his early career more of the
Right.
beachy side of it. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Like I will always go down with that one. I thought we were supposed to talk about pooping.
No. Well,
Well,
a
let's
little.
do at this point if you want to do like an official introduction to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't even know what show this is. Show whatever.
3.
But
Off the
I am-
wall.
This is Off the Wall. I am here with the great producer of all time, Sir Marcus.
Yo.
We are here also with Jemma Lee, owner owner and CEO of Studio ODA 406.
Yeah.
We have, who was going to be just a special guest, I think is now just going to be on the show all the time, Jessica motherfucking Johnson.
Hello.
Stand-up comedian, actress extraordinaire. And I am just kind of the leftovers. I'm Junior McCoy.
Songwriter and
No,
director
I
and
don't need to
producer
tell about
and
my resume because
and,
obviously it didn't get me too far.
and rodeo and special forces and everything under the sun. We'll talk about eventually what you have not done.
Made a lot of money.
Well,
right there is what I'm
shit,
really
mine,
good at.
mine
Is that everybody in this room right
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because when people want to get into because Marcus was talking about this,
Well, this is just for fun.
If you want to get into the music, comedy, acting, film world, if you are truly getting into this to have a secured paycheck, not ever have an ulcer, not meet the
Too late.
not meet the flakiest people of all time, this is not the
Not for you.
this is not the business to be in, because God, we had an argument. Well, we'll get into that later, but yeah, I still want to hear about this pooping story in Denver.
Okay, the pooping story in Denver.
Because we were talking earlier about how Jamie and I went on a road trip and she had to use a Shigo. We were, and Jamie, would you please explain what a Shigo does?
Oh, well, yeah. We actually originally, someone gave it to me for camping. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome, I mean, I
It's
don't care to
basically
do
like
in the
my
woods.
big running joke is women.
But if I
can't
had a
pee
penis,
standing up.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. And I'm like, no, I say nay, because we can.
We can pee standing up.
And there's an apparatus to help with that. But you got to make sure that it's like sealed, or it will go everywhere.
Well,
but anyways,
so the story goes is Jamie and I were driving through Denver. We were like in like holiday rush hour traffic, and Jamie's like I gotta go to the bathroom.
And I was like, oh
Like,
yeah,
can't stop.
I can hold it. Well, I'm like adjusting myself in the seat and unbuttoning my belt and trying to like move it
around,
and ignore it. And
finally, we're at a point
like,
on the
I
highway
can't.
where I can't pull over. And Jamie and I got no shame. Like, if you've worked on a set, you know what a deck change is. You have no problems changing your wardrobe in front of somebody. If you got to pee somewhere, you just do it. Whatever. We don't care. You got to pee on the side of the road, whatever. Jamie's like, all right, I've never peed like a guy.
I was
You got to
just
walk
like,
me through this.
so this is the first time I've seen the Shigo, and this is a really advanced level. I've not reached this level yet. So you're going to have to help me on how to do this. I mean, I know how to use it, but I don't know how to point it.
So she gets it sealed. I'm like, so this is how you like insert it into the big mouth bottle. You can use a big mouth bottle because that way you can tip
I'm
it
like,
up.
Junior, I don't care the explanation.
I'm an
Just
expert
teach
going to
me.
the bathroom at 75
Just
miles
tell me
an
how to
hour.
get.
So she does it and it works. That was the story. We started the show, and then somebody pipes up and goes, "Oh, going to the bathroom in Denver. I have a story about this." So
Yes.
what the hell was that about?
Okay, so we were in Denver to go to the children's hospital. So already a stressful situation. And we ate some like weird food. It was Oriental food. And so it was rush hour traffic at the time. We're on I-25, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Which, if people haven't been to Denver, driving on I-25 is like driving on the 405 in California. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Because it's a highway that you can't get off.
Yeah.
And it's like LA traffic inside a city that shouldn't have that kind of traffic. That's what it is. So
it's awful. But anyways, so my stomach, I have bowel problems anyways. My stomach did the thing, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, pull over to the side of the road. And my husband's like, no, I can't do that. Like, we've moved 2 feet in the last 20 minutes, Jessica.
Oh, so you're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, that's
we're
why she
Oh,
was, yeah.
you're not driving.
You
You're
didn't
stuck.
hear that
Oh,
part.
We're
okay, no, I didn't.
stuck. We're at a standstill stuck. And I'm like, okay, we'll just wait until the next exit. And he's like, next exit is 5 miles. And I'm like, okay, I can make it 5 miles. So another 20 minutes pass.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking around. I'm like, I cannot do this.
Do you have the sweat coming from the forehead at this
I'm
point?
like, and then I look in the back of my car. And we're driving in a minivan, and I look back, and we have one seat down, and I see a cooler. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like,
Marcus is just sitting over here going, "Oh my god."
I'm
This
like,
is kind of
what else you
triggering,
gonna
okay?
do? I mean,
Visual theater.
what else you?
Yeah, but in the visual theater, it's like, "Oh my god, this is gonna happen."
so I look back, and I see the cooler, and I'm like, I can wait, and like, how much longer? And he's like, we still haven't even gone more than like 20 feet at this point.
God, you are in like Friday afternoon Denver traffic.
Yes,
Stop
yes,
and go.
yes. Stop and go. Stop and go. I
man.
think there was a wreck ahead of us. We found out
God.
after I had my. So
Blowout.
I just hop in the back seat and I like just open the cooler and there's like, okay, so we eventually start moving and there's water in the cooler and it's like splashing my ass and I'm just having a time.
Of your life?
And my kids are looking at me with their eyes like huge, and I'm like, don't tell anybody about this. And they're like, I think I have to tell my teacher about this, Mom. I'm like,
No, you do not. So I got a question. Did you keep the cooler?
okay, it's my grandpa's cooler.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Now, my question
Hold on,
It's
is...
one of those old antique.
Jessica is never bringing drinks to the party. Okay, you are never.
Okay, it has this. He just okay. We went to his funeral the day after we
so much
left
worse.
for Denver.
and that's supposed to make the story sound better?
Like you're trying to justify this cooler.
But I'm like my grandpa's always there for me when I need him.
Obviously.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I had no idea that's where we were going to
So
go.
my question to you is, Jess, is,
I sanitized the shit out of it. Don't worry.
literally.
Literally sanitized the shit out of it. Like that thing has been bleached. bleached.
No, you're onto
Am I
something.
the only one that noticed that like 3 drinks
She's
got opened
onto
during this?
something.
Oh, yeah.
She made a moving bidet.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
heard.
the
I was
water
like,
was
just sloshing
sloshing,
back and forth. I
And
was like,
she
well,
was made
All
a
right.
wild bidet.
That's
So
fucking
what- you know
awesome.
what?
So did you keep the cooler in the car, or did you, on one of your stops in traffic? Did you put it in the trunk, or how did
Okay,
that
well,
or did you
okay.
dump
They
it
were in a
out?
minivan.
Or
They were in a minivan.
Well,
you were.
yeah.
Yeah, so the cooler has a lock on it because it's one of those nice ones.
well, see,
Well, at least you weren't shitting in something that was subpar. I mean,
It's one of those nice. It's like metal wrapped. And it's like one of those old, nice antique.
oh,
okay.
yeah.
So we went to a car wash.
That's what I was just
Yes.
saying.
Yes, we went to a car wash, and like we waited
Please
for.
tell me that your ex-husband at least cleaned it out. Like, he
Yes,
helped you out
yes, yeah.
and
He
did a solid.
That's-
yeah,
because
he did a solid.
You obviously already are sick and you feel like hell as it is, and you.
Yeah, no, he did a solid, and he cleaned
Did
it
you have
out.
to spray
Like
your
we,
ass down too, or
like no, my ass was fine.
Pull out the-
nothing,
pull out the
nothing
foam?
stuck
There was
to my
water.
ass.
the foam brush, to clean everything?
No, we cleaned it really well in the car wash, and then I took it home and soaked it in bleach.
Oh my god.
And I haven't used it until
My
like
god, you
this
sound like you're
year.
going through PTSD over here.
What did your poor husband think at the time?
Well, he's like
He's
That
like, this
stuff
is
like-
gonna happen. Yeah,
stuff like that never bothered him. Like he
you're
just,
married.
like-
It shouldn't bother anybody
it's
at
just,
this
it's
point.
just like we were together for 17 years at that
Oh.
point. It's like
Fuck it.
yeah, I'm like
You guys were in the point of pooping in front of each other, is what you're saying.
yeah, like we're to
That
the
brings
point
a
where
whole
he
new
knew
level.
that I like had IBS, and he knew, like nothing was a secret. So
I didn't know. Do you have IBS? Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting because as I've gotten older, I found out that I was allergic to dairy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned into like a whole, like the whole... Now, my mom, God rest her soul, passed away in the fall, but she really developed the gluten thing.
yeah, no.
And
it's
so
gluten.
2 years ago, Jamie started getting gluten out of my diet.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm so sensitive because we've been paying attention to it. We found out I got to stay away from like malt beverages. I didn't know that like one malt beverage, like a beer, is the equivalent of like 7 pieces of bread.
You know, I
And we
can't.
couldn't understand why I would have like I'd have just like I bought these and they were good. I enjoyed them. I bought these the Bloody Marys, and they were a malt drink because we bought them from the store. I drank one of those in the morning, and I've always made the running joke that I wake up with a 6-pack and I go to bed so bloated that I can't think straight. It's because I drank that. So that's people who don't have that, have never been around that. They don't understand like when you got to go to the bathroom.
You gotta go.
I got no problems pulling off the side of the road, and if I got to explain that to the state patrolman, I'll do it. I've done it before.
Okay, so we were staying at a friend's house, and we told them the story when we got back. I didn't want to, but Ty did. And like my husband did.
Ex-husband
at the time did, and like my friend was like, well, it's a really good thing that you did that and not pull over the side of the road because they're really strict about people doing that here, and you would get
a ticket.
No, you get put on the sex offender list.
Yeah, it's indecent exposure.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we had a friend.
Shit in a cooler. Don't pull over.
I went to high school in Colorado, and there was a mall, and a bunch of us had to go to the bathroom, and we've been drinking, underage drinking. Let's pretend. In what universe can we pretend like that never happened? Whatever. But we jumped in this bushes area, and we're going to the bathroom, and one guy was left, and this sucks. He was, I think the thing that got him out of it is he was 17. Next thing you know, a cop comes over. Hey, put it away, boy. Now, we thought they would just throw us off and stuff. No, they gave this guy a ticket. They wanted him to register as a sex offender. And I'm like, come on, dude. Come on. You're gonna make him get on the list with child rapists because he peed behind a tree?
Behind a tree.
Yeah, like it was literally trying to get out of, but that was still considered out in the open. So no, that's actually true.
Yeah. So don't do it.
How do you segue into like our topic? Like seriously, like we've talked about poop.
Have there already been directors charged with indecent exposure? Like,
That's actually really interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up.
What's that?
I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, directors charged with indecent exposure for any directors or any.
Oh my God, you start going down that road. I mean, all you have to do is look up the Harvey Weinstein Company. Harvey Weinstein, I mean, God, what'd they figure out, Marcus? He's look, okay, I am, we go down a slippery slope, but
pun intended. What the hell?
I'm not a dirty whore, okay? You're giving me the
Prove
dirty
it.
whore look. Anyway, but I mean, there's a lot of prominent women in Hollywood that have said he raped them or was inappropriate. And he owned, I mean, there's been some amazing films that came out of the Weinstein Company. And so I think if you just even look up that company, oof.
That could be another topic as we move on.
But as far as like directors that have like crossed the line?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that could be a totally different, because that's going to be a long topic.
By itself.
Yeah, that'll be one whole show topic, but yeah.
Well, so since we talked about directors,
of boundaries,
one of the topics that we wanted to tackle on the show, and we can go through it. And these are things we can come back to because you start talking about it, it's hard to loop it up in one little tiny thing. But so, Jamie, you wanted to talk about directors that.
Well, just directing styles in film, or that you like, or a person that a director that directs, I don't know, a different style, or that you like.
Can we encourage somebody to do something on something you've enjoyed? I encourage anybody that listens to this show to go on, if you have Disney Plus, to go on the Mandalorian gallery. Because I didn't realize that the Mandalorian was directed by 5 different people. Mm-hmm. And they're all, you know what, I'm going to drop the F-bomb here. They are all fucking brilliant. And Jon Favreau, I think, is going to go down as one of the best came-from-nothing directors of our time. And to watch him put that group of people together, have you seen how they do that show, Marcus?
I got to interject.
I have not watched Mandalorian at all.
I love our studio, and I love what we do, and I love who we've met, because I wouldn't be friends with any of you guys if it wasn't for the studio. But I feel sometimes such less than because of what they're doing.
Marcus,
that
you
it
gotta
is
watch this
such
show.
on a grand. I mean, they've got. It's a whole virtual reality.
Yeah. They basically built their new platform
And it
off
moves.
of gaming technology. So basically, they go into this big warehouse, okay, and these walls come
and
down.
You sketch it. They sketch it first.
Yeah, they sketch it first. They build it on the computer, and so basically, the actors are acting inside like a space that may be half the size of a basketball court, and then they bring in. Basically, they've built the landscape, and they bring in dirt. They set up an entire location where they would have to go to Morocco to film, right? They set that location up inside of half an hour. They bring in, there's 3 guys that are playing the Mandalorian right now. Each one has a specialty. And only one of them is Pablo Pascal. Is that how you say his name? Because I love that actor. He's an amazing actor. And then these screens around it are so real. And as like the Mandalorian walks, the screen is moving behind them. And they were talking about this new this is, you got to watch this because this is Favreau with Lucas Productions. They created this. And literally they were talking about, you'll understand where I'm coming at from this, Marcus, is they literally, one team was breaking for lunch. And I'm probably going to mess this up, but another team that had been filming, because they're filming like 4 or 5 episodes at a time. That's why they have 5 directors. And they came in and they go, hey, we missed something yesterday. Can we go ahead and just set up and knock it out? Oh, sure. We'll take an hour for lunch. So the let's say number 1 team, they're taking an hour for lunch, while the number 2 team that was in the day before comes in. Boom, they throw different dirt and whatever on the thing. The other Mandalorian comes in. Boom, their background is there. They knock it out in an hour and they walk out. That is speed that we who are slaves to.
We can only dream of people that could work like that right now.
You got to watch it.
We'll have to show you
It
before
is
you guys
ama-
leave.
You've got to
if you've
see it
got
because when you
time,
sit
but-
there, what you sit there and go, "Wow, are we fucking working hard? Wow, are we?"
Well, it's not that they're not working hard because
they still work. It's
They just
still
work
a lot for them
efficiently.
to get there.
It's
But-
so proficient. But
Yeah.
you're able to film 5. I mean, and they're showing like the whole. They showed going from one scene where like they're in the jungle, or not in the jungle, like on the desert of one of the locations. But then the next one they had to film was him in a ship, and they showed turning it from one to the other. And the next thing you know, they wheel this freaking thing out there, which is his ship that's on hydraulics. And like the way that this thing moves, as this thing moves, the technology is space moves with him.
Yeah.
So it is so. I'm sitting there watching this and going, "Wow, holy shit!" And I mean, this is George Lucas's dream. Whether and literally you think about it, George Lucas on The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has brought back the Star Wars franchise. It really did. And then you're talking about, well, George Lucas started that. Who's one of the directors of The Mandalorian? Bryce Dallas Howard, Ron Howard's daughter. I mean, it's a small group. So anyway, you're talking. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
So was that your favorite director then?
No, don't. You guys all go first with directorial styles and things that you like, because it's like talking to Marcus about artists. It's like I'm going to talk about a different genre. It's who. Yeah. Who's your favorite?
I like, and this is just a side note, but I like A League of Their Own.
You like Penny Marshall?
Yeah, and I was just reading up on her.
Gone way before her time.
Well, I was reading up on her a little bit that she fell into it, and it's because that she was responsible and on time.
Did we hear that?
I definitely heard that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
start with Penny Marshall again.
Yeah.
Somebody felt like they fell down.
Sound like somebody fell off a roof next door.
There's a lot of noise going on over there.
Yeah. Sounds like some... So I picked Penny Marshall, who was the director of A League of Their Own. And
She did more than just A League of Their
Own.
Own.
For sure. Yeah, she did a
And you know what's interesting is people don't realize she got her start. She was Laverne and Shirley. I mean, okay, talk about that genre. Get back to it, but though Laverne and Shirley came out, Bosom Buddies came out a couple years later. Bosom Buddies had who? Tom Hanks. About two guys that the only way that they could get an apartment in New York is they had to pretend to be women to live in an all-women's apartment complex. But, I mean, please continue, because I'm a huge fan of Penny.
And she fell into it because she was on time, and she...
Wow. That's how you fall into being one of the best directors of all time.
That's
You were on time to work.
She stated that they saw her as a responsible person. She was on time and got along with dang near everybody. And they kept calling her. And kept calling her and saying, "Oh, nobody's going to pick this up. Boom, will you do it?" She's like, "Yeah, I got nothing going on." Like, that's how she kept getting directorial gigs.
I don't know if you have
because
it.
of that.
I don't know if you have it in front of you. I'll try to pull it up. But do you know all the things that Penny Marshall directed?
I've got a few, like Laverne and Shirley, Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Oh, the Jumpin' Jack Flash, the Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Mm-hmm. And that was another big thing, is that people saw that she was getting along with her, and they were really surprised about that. Which
Really?
I don't know if Whoopi Goldberg or...
She's extremely hard to get along with.
And I think that's what surprised everybody, is she was able to get along with her very well. And I think they saw her professionalism, and dang near every time they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" She's,
"Yeah, oh my
God,
not? She had a lot of movies. Did you know that she directed... Did she direct Big with Tom Hanks? Seriously? And then Awakenings with Robert De Niro? That was, Wasn't Robert Williams in that one?
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Yes.
Awakenings is the one where it's a true story based on a doctor that had found a cure for people that were, like, in a coma.
Mm.
But when he went through the cure, it only brought him out of the cure for a short period of time.
Oh.
And it is rip your
Mindfuck.
guts out, man. It's just... God, she did Renaissance Man. My God, she's done a lot. She did so many. I mean, and that's just big movies that she did.
And she also liked, she's like, "I like to tell stories, and only the independents can do that, and they don't pay that much." But she's like, "I'd rather do TV or an HBO movie."
Oh, did you know that she was married to Rob Reiner?
I did not.
Interesting.
Rob Reiner has, whether you like Rob Reiner or not, he's got a pretty long... I mean, I think Penny Marshall will go down for...
But I'm biased, though.
League of Their Own, though.
I'm really biased with directors, not just female or male. Just, if you're a cool person and you're cool to work for and you respect your cast and crew, then I'm all for it, And I get, maybe that's naive of me, but...
Marcus, do you have a style? I know when we get into talking about music, I know you got a whole laundry list of...
Well,
Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is God.
Well, I can't say Hans Zimmer is God.
What?
I can't say he's God, but that's a topic for another day.
Topic. We have to drink it
Topic for another day.
I will always... A change in the wind, says I.
I do love him, but yeah, no, not God.
But not God, no. Check the gate, moving on.
I honestly, I've been sitting here as you guys talking, trying to figure out which one, because I cannot determine.
That was my
Christopher Nolan.
My problem too.
Christopher
Well,
Nolan.
look what Nolan's done.
Quentin Tarantino, and Guillermo del Toro. I'm sorry, but those three...
Guillermo del Toro has done some fun stuff.
He's done some out there shit, and that's why I love him.
But now, isn't Guillermo del Toro pretty close with...
Guy Ritchie?
Oh, I love Guy Ritchie films.
Guy Ritchie's
Snatch will go down as one of my favorite films of all
Guy
time.
Ritchie's God.
But but Guillermo del Toro. Oh, Robert Rodriguez. Guillermo del Toro didn't Guillermo do? He also did Hellboy, right?
I believe so.
He do the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
Hellboy?
Hellboy. Shape of Water. This is the one that I was
The Shape
thinking of.
Water,
He.
Okay.
Oh, that was
the Pan's
creepy.
Labyrinth, Hellboy.
Yes.
Yes, all of those. That's what I was gonna bring up. Those. I didn't know the director, but
Guillermo del Toro. You know they're gonna do
Really?
another. You know they're gonna do a Pan's Labyrinth like a number 2 or something like that. What?
Guy Ritchie is God.
Oh,
Or Jessica.
Is Jessica getting all hot and bothered over Guy Ritchie? Over
yes.
Oh, so now we have two dirty whores in the building.
I think
spreading
we
like a
have
disease.
It's the Rona.
It's the Rona.
Two dirty whores in the building.
I'm so
you,
gonna
Marcus.
use that, Marcus. I'm gonna do that in public and watch him blush. Like, it's gonna be epic.
God.
I'm so gonna video it and send it to you.
That is not. You would do that too. We'll have to talk about it.
You've done that thing of being loud and going.
I think we need to commit that after this show has 10 episodes, we got to go to vodcast.
Oh yeah.
I think we should try to go to vodcast. I think we have enough of the capabilities to do it because the funny thing of it is
Well, sometimes you need to see
and
expressions.
we got to get one
and,
because we got to get one camera on Marcus because have you noticed how we'll say some shit? And he
I just
gets
react
this
most of the
fucking
time.
Look going, oh God, here we go. Thank God it's podcast and it's not radio. And then I
Yeah,
have
he's
to
gonna.
cut
He's
this.
like, yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this. Yep,
So I know
edit,
we talked about
edit.
not going political, but I'm just gonna go there.
Okay.
I'm like the Nancy Pelosi of the podcast. I'm gonna go there. And you're picking your nose.
Yeah. That's what that long hair probably
Not
got.
on
Like
podcast
I
yet.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to continue the conversation. I'm just saying, I'm the
leg
Nancy
behind my
Pelosi of
head.
podcasts. Have you ever seen her watch Trump talk?
Oh, she loses her shit.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie.
She's
to you.
very animated when she
Even
listens
when
to
I-
other people
even when
talk,
I
and she
lock-
wants to
Yeah,
say
you-
something, but
okay,
she
I
has to
get-
shut her
okay,
mouth.
I can go with that. I got that. I like
Oh,
that.
that was.
That's a great
That's fair.
description because it's like, you heard some shit come out of our mouth and you're like, oh, thank God I don't have to edit that. And one of these days we'll have to talk about the other show that you produced when we had a very couple abrasive gentlemen on here and you were like, I am going to be bleeping out everything. That they're saying.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, nope. It's a podcast, bro. You just go with it. But, we had talked about Quentin Tarantino before. And I don't necessarily care for him as a person, but the one thing that I know about Quentin Tarantino is when he writes a script in Hollywood and it gets released, Hollywood shuts down. Listen to Ross Patterson. Ross Patterson is, I'm a huge fan of him. He moved as far away from Hollywood as he could possibly get. And he would tell you, and I was there when it happened. So when Quentin Tarantino does a script, Hollywood stops because everybody wants to read it. He writes them so perfectly and beautifully. Like, and I think we talked about this on another show. That scene in Inglourious Bastards, in the opening where the family's like hiding underneath the... And I'm butchering the shit out of it. I know that's one of your favorite movies.
What?
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, but yeah, I like it, but there's.
It
I gotta
drags
be.
up.
I gotta be.
The only thing that I don't
in the
like
mood
about
for it.
Tarantino movies is he'll do some action and do some fun stuff, and then he does a long line of storytelling.
I have a screwed up. sense
Like
of humor,
Hateful
so-
Eight. Hateful Eight, like, could have been done, like you said. Hateful Eight could have been done in an hour and 15 minutes. But that's just his style. You have to like his style, I think.
And I think he shares a lot more opinion with the director of photography for his films than a lot of other directors share. Because I really feel like Quentin Tarantino is, if you watch his movies, like, you don't even necessarily have to know a movie by him is by him because you can just tell. Just the way that it looks and the
you
vibe
can.
and the angles. Like he has camera angles that I have never seen in another film
You know
before.
who else does that?
And it's so iconic. Like, so I could, there's movies by him that I watched that I didn't know he directed. And I was like, this has to be a Quentin Tarantino movie just because of
Just
the way
because
that
of
it looked.
is. Another person that I think is like that, and whether people like him or not, and there's a lot of argument about this guy, but Michael Bay. I can watch
Garbage.
but here's the thing though. People watch his Transformer movies and stuff like that, and they heard about him and the spat between Megan Fox, who, ironically, Megan Fox threw a fit. I'm sorry, but the only person that's not working out of that pair is Megan Fox. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't want to, but then Michael Bay does 12 Strong, and he does a war movie of the very first of the horse soldiers of Afghanistan, the first combat we were involved in. ODA 995. I'm sorry, 595. I was on 995. I gotta get that straight. But I mean, I'm watching that movie and yeah, I mean it was Hollywooded up, but then that's beautiful.
Right.
It was a very well done war movie. And I think Michael Bay also did 13 Hours in Benghazi.
Mm-hmm.
No
That's
way.
I'm pretty sure he did.
That's a very close to my heart story, and someday I want to have Chris Tonto on. These are people that I know, Ozgeist, people that are amazing people. Yeah, you have to.
He did.
So
you have to Hollywoodize stuff, and that's something that I.
He also did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Who did?
I did not know that.
Apparently, yeah.
Michael Bay
in
did?
2003.
I
From
thought
what I'm
Rob
seeing.
Zombie did that.
Well, he did,
No,
but
there's
there's been
two.
multiple versions.
Yes.
Just like with Halloween, there's been
The
multiple
real
different.
version is the scariest.
Uh-oh. Now we're talking about multiple
Don't-
versions. You know where I'm going to go back to.
Oh God.
There will never be. I'm
Please
sorry.
shut him
John
up.
Carpenter.
No.
John Carpenter. I
He
think
is-
John Carpenter is one of the greatest directors of all time because he made he's my hero. He made something with nothing.
Oh
I
yeah.
can tell you story. I mean,
And I don't-
I've talked.
He was the one that ended up writing the theme song to Halloween.
Yeah.
Like out of the blue, and it was a complete freaking
We talked
accident.
about that on another show.
Uh-huh.
Like why Michael Myers walks. He walks because they were so low budget that they didn't have money for like a knife, and they went down to the novelty store and they got this flimsy rubber knife, and if he ran, it wobbled back and forth.
Right.
So they said walk fast.
But now it's become
But
like
it's
an
an icon.
iconic look. Yeah.
And then you look at we talked about. I don't know if we talked about another show, but when they made The Thing with Kurt Russell.
The jam
Yeah,
from the
jam.
craft service.
How
Yeah, you talked about
how
that.
They used like jam. And it was like raspberry preserves, and they couldn't get that head to fall. And they however it worked, but I mean, he made something out of nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, one of my favorite movies of all time, Escape from New York. I don't know who made whose career. I don't know if Kurt Russell made. Oh, are you fucking? Is this where we're gonna? All right, get me out of this. Because I can talk about John Carpenter all the fucking.
No, I agree. So I do want to go back to the Michael Bay thing though a little bit because.
Please do.
So Transformers, for example. I can't deny that I fucking love those movies. I love watching
I do
them.
too.
I think they're super entertaining. The thing with Michael Bay that I have a hard time with, which is more to some of his other films as opposed to some of the war films he's done, like 13 Hours and
Right.
Benghazi, things like that. Those movies do have a little bit more of a substance to them. Michael Bay doesn't have a lot of substance, in my opinion. He is so just
What do you mean
stereotypical
by
about
substance?
explosions.
Bigger
and
explosions, bigger-
exactly. It's
Okay.
always just big. He makes everything big, and then because of that, it's
know
just
where
like
I
the
felt
loudness
that?
war in music.
You know where
Everything
I-
seems louder, so all of a sudden it's better, which is not
You know
true.
where I found that the most was I can't remember which Transformer it was, but there was one of the and I love the Transformers. They're entertaining me.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not going to
The
watch
animation,
those. Yeah,
beautiful.
You're not watching those to win an
The
Academy
CGI
Award.
isn't ridiculous.
However,
It's yeah.
when you talked about the big thing, there was one scene where one of this, I don't know, evil Transformer was this snake.
Decepticon.
And Decepticon, thank you. And the building is falling over, and this Transformer or whatever this thing was is like a snake is like running through this building, and the building is falling over. And
That's the third one.
is that Dark Side of the Moon?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the one without Megan Fox.
That was the one that irritated me because like that whole building tipping over thing and stuff like that. Dude, I got up and went to the bathroom. There comes a time in a film where you have to keep people's.
Okay, hold on. You did
JD's
not-
like, wait a minute.
You did not tell everybody that you are a CGI snob. You and I have argued over it many times, and I'm like, okay.
She loves
I agree with
Avatar.
you.
I hate Avatar.
Well, and I'm
Oh,
like-
see, yeah, I
CGI
love
movies.
Avatar.
And I'm like, Junior, you got us. Avatar, it's
Jessica's
not
falling
real.
asleep.
It is not real. So you know there's gonna be CGI. Duh.
I meant,
but still.
okay, as like an artist and or somebody who looks at art a lot, I'm a fucking CGI snob, and it drives me nuts.
Thank you.
It drives me nuts where I can't even really? Are you gonna do this to me? You're just gonna make this all fake? I might as well be playing a video game.
Okay, but Jessica, hold on though. Hear me out on this with the CGI thing. If it's like a movie like Transformers, I expect CGI.
Yeah, I
like when I
expect it.
watched The Witcher, I expect it, but The Witcher was great CGI. But I mean, if you expect CGI, cool. But like some of these war movies of World War II coming out, I'm sorry, folks. If Spielberg can do Saving Private Ryan without CGI, and you do the CGI thing for these World War II movies, you have fucked me. You have done me wrong, dipped it in sand, and done me dry. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah,
Was
no,
that
no.
Dirty Horror? Was that Dirty Horror talk?
No.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
dirty
so
whore.
the Call of the Wild, the new one.
Oh, was it bad?
The dog was CGI. It was not a dog.
Oh, she's getting pretty emotional over that shit here.
No, CGI pisses me off. There's a time and a place. There's a time and a place, and then there's a time and a place to use a real dog.
So here's some perspective. So you, Junior,
as Marcus tries to calm everybody down
No,
the
I'm
road.
kidding.
well, talking about CGI, it's interesting. You know that conversation we were having that one time about Foley, and you were asking me about doing some Foley on some other projects that you guys are working on. And we were kind of talking about the interesting world of Foley, and for those
you
of
turned me on to a whole different world of it, but you take it to a level where I appreciate it. It's like, wow, you're gonna do what? You're gonna get this out of what?
Right.
Like I am so enamored with your mind when it comes to talking about that.
It's really cool, and I feel like CGI is very similar because we were talking about how with a Foley artist, you only know you're doing your job well when people don't realize you're doing your job.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because Foley, for those that don't know, is basically all of the natural sound effects that would happen. So, for example, if there was a scene in a film where there were two characters exchanging dialogue sitting at a coffee table, and one of them takes a sip of their coffee and they set down their coffee mug on the wooden table, the camera and the audio on set might not have picked that up. So to enhance and to bring you into the story, you're gonna put in a sound of the coffee mug sitting down on the table.
To support your thing, because the guy on set, that's not his job.
Right.
The guy on set is
to
get
dialogue.
those two people's dialogue.
Exactly.
And if you get something else, the director's pissed.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound, and we've had that on, because we do a lot of location shoots, and it's like, oh, car. Like we did a shoot for Loco.
Well, we're having to deal with it right now with the trains.
Well, our studio.
Oh yeah.
So everybody knows, our studio is next to a train yard, and so every now and then, we might just leave a train sound in there. Or not, because
it gives it character.
It gives it
fine.
Character, it gives it. It's organic.
But I was just gonna say though, with the Foley thing, so you're talking about how you're doing it right if people don't realize you're doing it. CGI, I feel like is intended. It should be the same thing at least.
Yes.
CGI should be an enhancement, not necessarily how we're talking about Avatar, which I do agree. Love James Cameron as a director. Love Avatar. Love the story. Love the graphics. Everything about it's beautiful. But I can see where you guys are coming from, where it almost pulls you out because you're completely aware of the fact that literally the entire thing is CGI.
But I'm with Jessica though. If it's animal wise, I don't appreciate it either.
We're going on a different level.
Yeah.
But so with you saying that, Jamie and I watched. Let's pull the group here. I mean, we're on a podcast. We can go as long as we want. But how did you guys feel about I don't know what you call it now, and it just escaped my mind. But the real Lion King that came out,
The live action.
It ruined me.
I didn't
We
watch
watched it, and I was.
see.
Okay, explain why though.
But here's where I lost it.
The voices.
If they would have kept the same voices. All they had to do was take the voices from the animated one and put them in the next one.
Yeah.
The voices did not. It wasn't Pumbaa. It wasn't. The only person they got was James.
Nothing against any other artist or anybody who, did a voiceover. It's just not the same. Who grew up with
Jeremy Irons' Scar? I mean, Jeremy Irons has that voice where one of Jamie and I's favorite movies is a Ridley Scott movie. And it didn't get we're talking about the director. It did not get the props that it did. But if you want to see an epic movie that is so big and so beautiful, watch Kingdom of Heaven. It is a Ridley Scott, and I don't know, Orlando Bloom, whether you love him or hate him, the guy's been part of the top 3 franchises in the entire history of film.
Him.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
I'm a Harry Potter freak, but he has always been one of my favorite people from Lord of the Rings. Freaking Legolas. Oh my god, Legolas is such a
He made me want
badass.
to be an elf.
Fucking sliding down concrete stairs, shooting a bow on a board.
Okay, but here's another thing too. What I thought they did with their characters. I'm a straight guy. In Lord of the Rings, that's a beautiful man. Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there.
He is very handsome.
Yeah, I'm just, But then,
and I'm not straight. So.
We got some serious.
Like, bitch, he's mine.
I guess I'm a dirty whore now too. So, Jamie, you're the only virgin here at this point.
And normally it's backwards. Normally I am horrible.
But the thing of it is, I love.
I think the special part of those teas is starting to kick in a little.
I think the specialized part of artistic take. Ladies and gentlemen, this edition of Off the Wall is brought to you by Specialized Twisted Tea. When you want a twisted tea, get it specialized. What is the vodka we're drinking? It's Friss vodka. Friss. This is I have to do this stuff
because everybody's got a little bit of an Icelandic in them.
Only you, because you're an Icelandic princess. We all know that.
I wish I was.
Anyway, back to what I'm talking about. But we love Kingdom of Heaven. Have you guys seen that movie? You gotta watch it. It is so big, it's so epic, and it's so over the top. But Ridley Scott, as far as directors goes, never goes wrong. Ridley Scott did my film, Black Hawk Down.
See, like that's the thing. Ridley Scott does big when big is necessary.
Yes.
That's where like Michael Bay, he does big all the time because that's all he knows how to do.
But then you talked about somebody else, James Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
James Cameron did Avatar.
Right.
All the what do you call it? The CGI. He also did The Abyss before CGI was even a thought process.
And Titanic.
You watch The Abyss.
Titanic's always
they shot
so good.
They shot The Abyss in a deserted. I want to say it's like a deserted.
Don't say Abyss.
No, it's called The Abyss. That's the name of The Abyss.
I know.
The Abyss. But they shot it in a nuclear silo that had been flooded.
Oh.
Yeah. And they couldn't get the way to do it to shoot the. You got to look up on.
I don't think I've
James
seen The
Cameron
Abyss,
did
honestly.
this. You got to watch it. It's one of my favorite actors of all time is in it.
I definitely have to say James Cameron is the king of water scenes.
Yes.
He is like throughout all of his films, he's always had such good footage in water.
So side
Which is
note,
not an easy thing to do.
What about Deep Blue?
Well, hold on. Before we get to
got-
that, because you got to remember, James Cameron helped find the Titanic. He did that real. That's not fake. Like that's something that he really did. I mean, he was something that was very much a part of his repertoire. But when they were filming The Abyss in this silo, they couldn't get the camera. It didn't look dark enough because they were supposed to be like at the bottom of the ocean. So they brought in like truckloads of these like black rubber balls, and they dumped them on top of the water so they would float, and then they would let those things set, and they would dive all their equipment down to film, so it made it dark. You gotta watch how he did this. James, whether people like James Cameron or not, I think he's phenomenal. But if you did The Abyss, and if you watch it, and then you watch Avatar, you're sitting there going, you could have worked a little harder to make Avatar a little bit more real.
Right.
So, side note, I didn't know.
Ed Harris. Ed Harris is the guy Ed Harris, as far as I'm concerned, is like one of the greatest actors of our time.
Rennie Harlan. I didn't know he did Cutthroat Island.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Because I was just thinking of like Deep Blue Sea as like a CGI
Right.
deal. Because I thought they did a pretty good job in that.
I didn't think that was very bad.
I didn't think so either. I mean, it's a shark movie, and there's plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
But it is what it is. You have to take it at face value.
Right.
The thing that you can talk about when it comes to directors is you can talk about Hollywood's baby Yoda, Martin Scorsese.
He's so cute. But he's like, what, 100 years old? So that's a good-ass 100-year-old kiddo.
Well, so is Clint Eastwood. I mean,
The difference
he's a vampire / Yoda.
we need Martin Scorsese on our side. Can you not make fun of the guy? I mean, Jesus Christ.
No, I didn't make fun of him.
But
hey, when you're that famous, it's an honor to be made fun of.
no
shit.
at that point.
Yeah.
That's like what was that comedian that just ripped everybody? Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, yes. Oh my god.
Slammed, and even Martin Scorsese, Hollywood's baby Yoda, and there's Martin Scorsese laughing his ass off. Like, there's a guy that gets it. He's like,
right.
Dude, that's some funny shit.
But Yoda wasn't supposed to be that big, was it?
The little baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Well,
was it just like a funny little, we're just going to put this in here
and it wasn't
we'll see
supposed, it wasn't supposed to be cute. It was supposed to be this nasty little thing.
Well, he's not a nasty little thing.
Oh my god, did you just get all maternal?
Well,
yeah.
Now Yoda's
Did
fugly.
You heard that, didn't
Yoda
you?
is fugly.
I because I been maternal, and like that was maternal. I was like defensive, like, no, he's not. Like somebody saying my kid is a shithead, and like, no,
He's not.
Even
I
if he
know,
has a-
but
even
only
if he
I
has
can
a
say
shithead.
that.
yeah,
It's like, he might be, but he's my shithead.
my shithead, man. Knock your lights out if you say it again.
Now, remember the scene where those two... Okay, so there's a scene in The Mandalorian, and you gotta know how these guys would feel when they are with Baby Yoda, and they start...
Who's with him? Because, I'm a Mandalorian freak. I even got a Mandalorian shirt on.
Well, yeah.
This is the way.
Well, it's that one scene where they take Baby Yoda and they're waiting for their orders
Oh, you
to
talking
go
about
back
the two
in.
speeder bike guys?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So,
it's the most realistic
anybody who
thing ever.
likes Baby Yoda or like something tiny, even though he's like 100 years old, he's still he's old start.
He's
But
being a little shit.
but he hits the crap out of him. Like, how do you guys think they feel? Like, to me, that was cool ass karma
Oh yeah.
because they died by beating Yoda.
What did that have to do with directing?
We were talking about Baby Yoda.
Oh, so it's just like your favorite Baby Yoda scene.
Yeah.
No, it was not my favorite Baby Yoda. How do you feel that those guys felt trying to do that scene?
Of directing, I watched a movie that I saw a long time ago, but like way before I had like a real appreciation for film. Have you guys ever seen The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
yes.
Really? No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, that movie is freaking fantastic. So the concept is literally about this baby who's born as an old man, and as they age in reverse. So he's born as an old man, and he actually gets younger instead of getting
Isn't
older.
that like a real? No.
I
there's
can't.
something-
I don't know. I've been trying to figure out if it's based on a true story or not. But it's so beautiful. Like the whole story, the way that it's written, it's written, and the whole story about Benjamin Button is told through a journal that he had that talks about his life, and it's this lover of his owns this book, and she's dying, and so the movie starts out with this older gal who's dying in the hospital with her daughter, and the daughter starts reading this book about Benjamin Button, and then so that's where the movie kind of goes off. But it is, if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. It's a longer movie, but the cinematography is beautiful. The story is beautiful. Like, everything about it is just phenomenal.
Man, it sounds like a heart wrencher.
Also, The Help. Have you guys ever seen The
I
Help?
love The Help.
Oh my god.
The acting in The Help. Well,
I have never
okay.
cried so much in a film.
But yet
What's it
again,
about?
another movie, Dallas Bryce Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Bryce Howard's first film was The Village. M. Night Shyamalan. She played the blind girl. Like,
That
I
was
love-
such a dumb movie.
I
like M. Night Shyamalan, but I thought that movie was so
I thought
dumb.
It was really good. I actually was. I was really impressed with it. I think it was kind of one of those, like, the twist at the end thing. I love what he did with it. He's definitely an actor or a director that's on his own plane. I love the fact that he does a little cameo all the time. But The Help
Oh my god.
should have won more awards than it.
Oh my god, for sure.
But I think here's the thing. Like, if you have to vote for the Academy, and you have a film like that, it's like a movie that got completely overlooked. That was a war movie, American Sniper. Clint Eastwood will have to go down as one of the greatest directors of all time. But Clint has
That's
a
a
style.
no-brainer.
That's what I mean. But then you start talking about Stanley Kubrick. Passed away in '99.
How do you know all this stuff?
Because I've been in the business for a minute.
And most of this stuff you can't even find on the internet.
Right?
Well,
Like,
but
it is
another-
hard
but
to find.
Here's another director that people, I feel like they won't. Marcus and I were talking about before the show started. A lot of people haven't even seen his stuff. But Alfred Hitchcock has got to go down as one of the greatest directors of all time, and the guy's been he passed away in 1980, I think. He did some stuff that, like, is just so far ahead of their time. And then you talk about, Spielberg. Spielberg made his first movie when he was 12, and
He's a freaking icon.
Did you know what he made? It was a neat story. You know what movie he made when he was like 12 with like a little 8mm camera?
Mm-mm.
He rounded up all the dudes in his neighborhood. They made a war movie, and they were using. And I don't hope I don't butcher this because, if Mr. Spielberg ever called me up, rest assured I will not be using the name Steven to talk about, oh, hey, Steve, how's it? No, Mr. Spielberg. But he was doing these movies when he was 12 years old, and he was such a visionary at a young age that they were using firecrackers to, like, blow up sand and stuff like that when guys would get shot. And I guess he got in trouble doing that.
Really?
And so what they did is he went and devised this thing where it looked like a teeter-totter type situation, taking wood, and they put dirt on it. So the kids, he would get the camera. This is how far ahead of his time he was. He'd set the angle up for one of the soldier guys to come across a hill, and they'd step on that thing, and it'd blow the dirt up behind him, and then they'd pretend to die. 12 years old. Christopher Nolan. Holy crap.
I literally just watched Inception last night. Like, oh my god, that movie is so fucking good.
And that's a good movie, but look at all the other stuff he's done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it just goes on and on and on about, like, what great directors do. But, like you said, I think it's kind of like the Foley person. You only realize who the director is when it's shitty. When they can't, and, you know, people don't realize, like, what a director does.
That's human nature, though.
But a director has to babysit their talent. I mean, I think that's why Tropic Thunder...
babysitter.
Yeah, that's why I think Tropic Thunder, that's a spoof. And all those guys got blacklisted for a minute, but that's the most realistic movie I've ever seen about how Hollywood really is. You spank that ass, Les. You spank that ass. I mean, it's true. You have prima donna Hollywood actors that think they're better than what they are. You know, I mean, that's the most real... So, I don't know. Should we do a final thought on directors and call it a day?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think after everything we've talked about, I mean, I think the final conclusion is there's really no true best
master.
Director. There's
That's
no
what's-
way
yeah,
to
that's
truly answer
interesting.
that question. Everybody's answer is going to be different because everybody has different styles. Everybody enjoys different aesthetic.
Did we come out of this with some movies to recommend to people if they haven't seen it?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let's finish on that because, like we had talked earlier, if you haven't seen it, you got to see Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven, and I suggest the unedited version. James Cameron, didn't James Cameron do Michael Crichton's 13th Warrior?
That's another good one.
That's an amazing, movie. What was that one that you hollered out about earlier?
The Help. Honestly, if I'm going to recommend a movie right now, not only is that movie...
It's a great movie, period.
Oh, yeah. And not only is it super socially relevant to what's happening in the world right now, it's super eye-opening. It's just such a well done movie. And there's nothing worse than a director, in my opinion, that does something with a film and doesn't actually know what they're talking about. Like,
I agree.
the creators and everybody that went into The Help, they knew black culture. They understood. I can't say they understood, but they researched and they knew what they were talking about.
They didn't falsify the information.
Exactly.
There was no
exactly.
bad actor in that. And the guy you hate the most is one of my favorite actresses, Dallas Bryce Howard. When she gets, like, the frickin' fever blister in the end, and they're, oh my god. And there's no bad acting in that at all.
Right.
I got to look into it, but I heard that Viola Davis did not enjoy... I don't know if it was her, but you got to look into the story behind that. But evidently, she wasn't thrilled about doing that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, and I'm not sure why, whatever. And I mean, I'll research it and come back if I have to apologize later. But I think Viola Davis is one of the greatest I'm not going to ever call people by, me. I don't believe in acronyms. I don't believe in labels. She's just one of the greatest actresses that's out there. And anything I see her in, I don't see her doing any wrong. And then the gal, who was the gal that, oh God, I hate saying this. The one that was like, she's got such an attitude. She has such a freaking attitude.
The one that, like, makes the pie?
Like, yeah.
Yes. Her. Oh, I love her. She's my favorite.
She's in a new movie, and I want to watch it, about the woman that started ethnic hair care products on...
Oh, yeah.
It looks epic, and I didn't realize how much of a badass she was. And she suffered. Like, there was some... And evidently... But here's the thing. This is what sucks. And I'll let everybody finish their notation on this. An amazing movie, but they're not going to be able to give it awards the way that it should be because it's on Netflix. And I think that we need to come to a point where, guess what, folks? Amazon is doing straight to... You can go on there. There's the little bar down there going, this movie's out on the theater, but you can watch it here. I think if those movies are doing that, I think that they need to be considered for Academy Awards.
Absolutely.
Which I think the Academy's, for the most part, bullshit
Oh,
half
yeah.
the time anyway. You know, but so what do we come up with movies? We said
So yeah, my recommendation is The Help
The
and
Help.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Those are my two.
what do you got, Jess?
I'm gonna say Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
You need to watch it.
Not to be confused with The Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Two different
Pan's
movies.
Labyrinth.
Two
It's-
totally different ones.
Completely
It's-
different.
Now they are,
Beautiful.
they're coming out with a Labyrinth, the first Labyrinth 2. Did you
Yes.
see who they're gonna play?
Swilda something. She's the gal that played the White Witch in Chronicles of Narnia.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
She's gonna be
played-
so perfect.
She played Gabriel in Constantine.
Yes, she's
I
a
mean,
phenomenal actress.
She played the
wow.
one. She played the monk.
So they're redoing the Labyrinth.
She was
They're
what's
gonna
her
do
name in
second one.
Doctor Strange.
I would say the Doctor Strange. She's like the
Yeah.
monk.
Mm-hmm.
What is she? Hey, did she ever play Queen Elizabeth? I thought she did once.
I don't know. I know that there's a movie where the gal that plays O in a lot of the more modern James Bond movies.
Is she one of them?
I want to say she did a film that she played Queen Elizabeth in. I want to say. I could be wrong.
Judi Dench?
Yes, Judi Dench. Thank you.
How
I fucking love her.
How could you?
Yeah.
We're talking. It's Judi,
Right? It's Judi Dench. Like,
Jesus. I mean, let's call it what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am JMR with the wonderful producer Marcus, Jessica motherfucking Johnson, Jemma Lee, and we will see you next time. What are we going to go over next time? We're going to talk about the business next time.
the biz.
Hey, thanks for joining us.